Hello, ladies and gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen. Is another episode of Straight from the Motherfucking Block. I'm your
Who's
host,
up?
Stefano. Co-host, holla at him.
Sure already know who it is, man. It's been a long time. Got a lot to say. Mr. Martin, aka Ashton Martin, D, let's get it.
Yes, let's talk football. Let's get right to it. We're talking the NFL. Um, the playoffs is here. Season is over. The season is over. Congrats. Let's congrats Classic Ganja, man, for winning his fantasy league with his co-star. Congratulations, congratulations. You
Thank you very
know,
much. Thank you
always
very
got to
much.
show respect when a nigga win their fantasy league. You know what I mean?
Cheers to you.
Um, so let's start with something simple because even though he hate him, had at one point in time loved him. I'm gonna start with something with records. Let's start with Saquon. Should Saquon have played that last game and gone for Eric Dickerson's record? Yes, no, maybe so.
I'm gonna tell you this. Before the game, everybody was asking me, is he gonna play? And I was telling people before the coach made the decision, I was telling people Saquon is not gonna play. If y'all know Saquon Barkley, he's not about personal goals. He's about a team. He's all team oriented. And if the team and everybody thinks that he should rest, he's gonna rest. They ain't have a bye since like week 5. These niggas been play like 11 straight games. He's gonna take that week off because that's what the team wants him to do. Straight up. It wasn't
I
like
can
to me.
respect it.
To me, it wasn't a mystery. It wasn't a mystery to me if Saquon was gonna put, because no matter how you want to call this, a team goal, the offensive lineman celebrated too. He would never put an individual accolade above the success of the team. That's not who he is.
So I thought he wasn't. I agree with you. I didn't. I know what type of person he is, right? What type of teammate he is. But what I thought was he's not going to do it because it really isn't going to be the same since there's an extra game. He only needed 100 more yards, 100 more yards. But the fact that he would have had an extra game more than Dickerson to pass him, I felt like it's not the same significance. So I felt like for him, he wasn't going to go that hard.
And I mean, I don't know. We're going to get a chance to go at it. I mean, we're going to get a chance to talk about it again. So I'll go briefly with it right now. Okay. You have to take into part what happened to the Green Bay Packers. Could have happened to anybody out there. If you play your starters, there's a possibility that they get hurt. If you play your starters in a meaningless game when everything's already clinched, there's a possibility they get hurt, and you're not going to have them next week in the playoffs when you really need them for the ride or die moment. It happened to the Packers. Like I said, we'll get into that when we go to the but if you know football, you know the Packers is feeling it right now. You know what I'm saying? Matt LaFleur under taking a lot of criticism for playing their starters and putting themselves inside the predicament they're in right now.
Well, let's go on to the next topic, um, which is right now, who's your MVP? It's a three-man race. It's Saquon Barkley, it's Josh Allen, it's Lamar Jackson. Now, I know for a fact they usually go with a quarterback. Uh, I think in order for them to want to give it to Barkley, he would have to break the record. Even though he's had an MVP season. But if you had to choose right now, who you think they're going to give it to?
Josh Allen. If I had to take a wild pick, I would say it's Josh Allen because there was, I think if it wasn't last year, it was the year before, where Josh Allen kind of had a better season than Lamar Jackson, but it was just Lamar Jackson's turn. You know what I'm saying? So they
Mm-hmm.
gave it to Lamar Jackson that year. So even though this year Lamar Jackson is statistically the best quarterback in the NFL this season, like Lamar Jackson already got 2 MVPs, and this is the best statistical year that he's ever. My man, do you realize, D, that Lamar Jackson has thrown for 41 touchdowns and 4 interceptions? Do you know that Lamar Jackson leads the league Leads the entire NFL. That means there's not one quarterback who passes, who has a higher QBR than him, passing from the pocket, inside the pocket, not even scrambling around. No, inside the pocket. This season, the highest QBR out of all of the 31 starting quarterbacks in the NFL, Lamar Jackson. That's absolutely retarded. But with all that being said, he already has two of them. Josh Allen ain't got none. And Josh Allen been having MVP type seasons the last 3 years. So I just feel like it's his turn. Just like how Joker had got two back to back, but Embiid was balling them seasons. And then Embiid finally stayed healthy that one season. And they gave it to Embiid because you know what? It's your turn. That's how I feel the MVP gonna go. Josh Allen.
Okay.
Even though Lamar was the better quarterback this year, but Josh Allen.
Okay. So just FYI, ladies and gentlemen, we're just gonna run through a bunch of stuff before we get to the meat and potatoes of football.
Mm.
Um, and with that being said, let's start with this real quick as we take a quick little side note. Want to just give a shout out to these individuals right here. The Detroit Lions, first team in NFL history to have two running backs and wide receivers with 1,000+ yards scrimmage yards in the season. I think that's amazing. They've come a long way. Shout out to the Detroit Lions. Shout out to Jamar Chase with the triple crown. First with receptions, first with receiving yards, and first with receiving TDs in the season. Shout out, shout out, shout out, shout out. Um, Let me see. There's one more here. And Aaron Rodgers making the 500 passing TD club. I want to give him a quick shout out on that as well. Um, but since we're on the top subject, let's see. Have you seen a bigger debacle? Wait, you're muted, Kay. You're muted. You're muted.
Before you go, talking stats real quick. You brought up
Mhm.
Jamar Chase. I want to also let you know the Cincinnati Bengals have the number one passer in Burrow. And Burrow led the
Mhm.
league in passing yards. Okay. They
Mhm.
have the number one receiver, triple crown, as D just pointed out. And they have the sack leader because Trey Hendrickson led the league in sacks this season with like 17 and a half sacks. This is the first time ever that a team has had leaders in all three and not made the playoffs.
Wow.
Never happened before where you got the leader in passing, you got the best receiver in yards and everything else, and you got the sack leader for the year, and you ain't make the playoffs.
That's crazy.
All
That's
right.
crazy. Now, this is your man 50 grand.
Uh-oh.
Have you seen a bigger debacle? When's the last time you seen this big of a debacle with A-Rod and the Jets? This because let's maybe I don't maybe we have to lay this out. So A-Rod basically gets hurt last season. Um, if I'm correct, they moved some things around for offensive coordinator or a quarterback coach, one of the two. You correct me if I'm wrong, Kay. In order to make sure he could come, he comes.
No. They got his man first, Linehan.
Okay,
Yeah.
so they got his man. He comes. The first bowler drop was the Salah getting fired. He gets. Oh no, excuse me. They get more of his players. They get some players that he's familiar with. So they got Lazard. They got Adams. Um.
Even before that, they got Lazard and they got Randall.
Okay. They did all of that so that he's comfortable. He ends up getting Salah fired, as people may. This is what people's belief is. And then even after getting Adams, he just doesn't play well. Already had Garrett Wilson, who's a beast. We know that. This has been a mess. Do you think this is over for it's over for A-Rod for one? And for two, a team have you seen a team do everything in their power to make a quarterback this comfortable and it turned out to be such a mess?
Let me answer the first part while I remember. I think it's over for A-Rod. I know it's definitely over for A-Rod in New York. He got his 2 years in New York, and it's definitely over. The Jets should not bring him back. He should not want to be back for the Jets. The Jets should be in the market for one of these younger veteran quarterbacks, like not veteran, but you know what I'm saying? There's going to be a few quarterbacks inside, like out there, and the Jets need to be trying to get one of them. You know what I'm saying? But A-Rod and the Jets, I feel like that's over with. It was bad. It was just bad juju because all the things that went bad for them is just crazy. Because all the pieces, they look so good on paper. The thing with them is that they amped you up so good. They all the expectations were so high because they won everything. They did everything right in the offseason. On paper, they look perfect. From the offensive line, from Tyron Smith. You know what I'm saying? This guy, like, yo, if he stays healthy, they're gonna be good. And if he get to Pro Bowl form, back to Pro Bowl form, if they line stay healthy, they have running backs, they have receivers, they had a defense with solid, and then you know what I'm saying? It's just like they had your mouth watering so much. That's why, and it's to be so bad after being so looking so delightful. That's the crazy part. I don't think anyone has ever been that good on paper to be that bad in real life. You know what I'm talking about? And like you said, when they got Devontae Adams, you thought, all right, now he got his man, and Devontae's still nice. They amped you up again, and then they won like they lost like 3 straight. So it's like,
I'm gonna help you out because I only got you right now. It's just me and you. So we're gonna have a conversation. What's a bigger debacle? Because we here at Straight from the Block can admit when we're wrong, right? So we'll get to how I'm wrong. If any of the other people show up, they're gonna get to how they're wrong. But since it's only me and Ganja Man, we're gonna talk about how we wrong. But it's starting with him because we here right now. The two things you've been wrong about this past year, we in 2025, but past year, is A-Rod and Deshaun Watson. So which one of the two has been a bigger disappointment to you? Because you're a fan of those two specific quarterbacks.
I'm also a fan of Russell Wilson, but we're gonna talk about the two that didn't.
No, we ain't talking. We talking about where you was wrong, not where you right. We're gonna talk about where you wrong.
Deshaun Watson. I answer that
Okay.
quickly. Answer that fast. I answer that right away. Deshaun Watson.
Okay.
Deshaun Watson. Even when Deshaun Watson was healthy and he had every reason to play good, it just looked so bad. Like it just looked so bad. And then it was him because once other quarterbacks came in there, Jameis Winston came in there, was looking like the truth. Like why wasn't Watson doing this from the beginning? Like why wasn't he letting it rip? Why is he clutching? Why is he holding on to the rock? Jameis came in there with that confidence and with that fastball, and he's fitting everything in there. But the ball, the team and the offense was moving way better when he came in there, a real veteran. So you can imagine if they had a quarterback like, you know what I'm saying, another veteran. Imagine if they had Flacco back. Imagine if they would have brought back Flacco. Like they didn't bring back Flacco. They damn near said, we don't even want Deshaun to feel competition. And we don't want the team to be divided. So we're going to get rid of Flacco, even though he just won comeback player of the year. We just brought us to the playoffs and did everything nice for us. You know what I'm saying? We still going to get rid of him. And you see that he was with the coach and he won a few games for them. You know what I'm saying? And still, I bet you Flacco still threw for more yards than Deshaun Watson this season. Off the bench for the coach.
He probably did. He probably did.
But he probably threw for more yards than Watson, and Watson at least started 7 to 8 games. Started. You know what I'm saying? But Flacco coming off that bench and starting the 2-3 games that he started for the coach, probably threw for more yards this year. And that's bad, bro. A-Rod A-Rod did not have a 300-yard game this year, but he had a whole lot of 294s, 296, and 3 touchdowns. And you know what I'm saying? He had some games where he looked good. Even down the stretch, he looked good. Throwing the ball, fitting it in there. Him and Devontae Adams was on the point, just dropping that shit in the bucket. He still looked good at some points. It ain't his old self, and it ain't nothing what they thought they was getting. But he still looked good at some points. And Deshaun Watson ain't never looked good this season. You hear me?
He never looked good. I agree with you. I agree. All right. Let's move on to this.
Talk to me.
Who has the biggest fumble? And what I mean by this, who fumbled the bag the biggest? Is it Oakland or is it the Giants? You know what I mean. You know what I'm asking. You know why I'm asking it. So is the biggest fumble Oakland or is it the Giants after Oakland fumbled and clearly had it in the bag and then fumbled after Oakland? So who fumbled the bag the most?
Oakland. Because they fumbled the bag after us, right? No.
Before us. Before us.
They had it first. Then us. Fuck you talking about? we was in 4. We was in 3 for so long, or like wherever we was, you know what I'm saying? We was watching at all these other teams, you know what I'm saying? Ahead of us.
Once Oakland won, we was in 1. We had the number 1 pick. And then afterwards, we decided to win a game. Gotta be the biggest fumble. I don't understand what the fuck is going on. I told you, ladies and gentlemen, if the NFL had a chance to bring your boy back to watching, this was it. Number 1 pick, Shedeur Sanders going to the New York Football Giants. And they fumbled it. I don't understand how they fumbled it. And I don't understand why Oakland and the Giants would want to fumble it. What the fuck? I feel like something is going on behind the scenes that clearly Antonio Pierce got fired, but I feel like something's going on behind the scenes where is it that Shedeur's not high on people's list? The other teams that was in the running was not going to draft the quarterback, so they're not worried about it. Because right now, the New York Football Giants have the 4th pick.
Third pick.
4th pick. Huh?
Third.
The 3rd or the 4th pick? I think it's the 4th. I'm looking it up right now.
Tennessee is Cleveland, and then it's the New York Football Giants. And then it's the Patriots.
No, right now I'm looking at us at it's the Titans at 1.
The Browns at 2.
It says the Giants at 4. Why does it say 4?
Yeah, I don't know. Trust me. Tennessee, Cleveland, Giants. We're number 3.
All right. If that's the case, that's bothersome for me in a lot of different ways. Both Tennessee and Cleveland could draft quarterbacks. Would you agree?
They could, but they also can't.
Why can't? Why can't they?
Because if you know one thing that these past 2 seasons have taught us is that you can't cast away a first-round pick quarterback too soon. Okay? We see what Baker Mayfield did last year. We see what Sam Darnold did this year. And we could even go to Bryce Young, that he got benched a few games for the Red Rocket. You know what I'm saying? But then when the Red Rocket got hurt and Bryce Young came back in the game down the stretch, he looked like the number 1 pick. They won like 4 out of their last 7 games, and they finished their season on a high note. You know what I'm saying? So Will Levis, this is only his first season as a starting quarterback. This is the first season where they gave him the wheels and everything. You know what I'm saying? They gave him the keys and everything. Tennessee still got Will Levis, who they drafted like last year, or if not the year before. They just drafted Will Levis as the quarterback of the future for them. You know what I'm saying? So he had a bad season, but you never know with him. And Cleveland still got Deshaun Watson and all that bread. I say Cleveland's going to take a quarterback, but they could go out and sign a veteran too. Because Deshaun Watson dead money ain't going nowhere. His bread ain't going nowhere. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and so I think they definitely. I listen.
And look. If they go out and let's say they draft the number one quarterback, you're gonna have Deshaun Watson be his tutorer. You're gonna have Deshaun Watson mentor him and go out there and start and show him how to be a pro. I think they could do better than that. Like I don't like what I'm saying. That doesn't even sound right. So it's like I don't know.
All signs point that they both need quarterbacks. I don't think Will Levis is it. I understand your logic. You might absolutely be right. You might be right. I'm just saying that Will Levis, they could decide to make sure to have a backup for Will Levis if there's a quarterback. One of these quarterbacks, the two, Shador Ward is so high on their list that they feel like they can't pass him up. I'm gonna keep my fingers crossed. You see this, ladies.
Look. Suppose Tennessee goes out and gets Kirk Cousins.
That's another thing you was wrong about. Kirk motherfucking Cousins.
The whole
We talked in
world
the previous show. We talked to the previous show. You were giving this man a lot of praise. The nigga shit the bed like he normally does.
No.
He shit the bed. After I'm gonna find the clip. I promise you I'm gonna find the clip.
No. I'm saying Kurt Warner normally shits the bed like during the playoffs. He normally has great regular seasons. He's normally in the top 5 in yards, thrown for 4,000 yards and all that shit. He's normally puts up great stats and then shits the bed when it really fucking counts in the playoffs.
Well, he shit the bed this regular season.
Like week 8, that nigga shit the bed and it was over.
And I think Penix Jr., I think they know they got him. They got him. So
oh no, because when he came in, the offense looked way better. The offense looked sharper.
Yeah.
Like all of a sudden, the offensive line ain't look so bad because it didn't make sense that y'all could be one of the top rushing teams, but then the quarterback ain't got no time and you trying to blame the O-line. Well, B.J. Robinson want to buy these niggas vengeance because he rushed for over 1,000 yards every season. You know what I'm talking about? And the backup is getting yards too. So it's like they could run the ball, but they can't protect for you now, my nigga. You holding that ball too long. And Phoenix came in and showed it because he wasn't getting sacked like Kurt. You know what I'm talking about? He's letting that shit rip. Letting that ball go. You drop back, big, let that shit go. And that kid got a cannon. They got it right. Got a good one.
Yeah, so
all I'm saying is, just to wrap it all up, all I'm saying is both the Tennessee Titans and the Cleveland Browns will be open to taking draft picks, a lot of them from the New York Giants, to move back 1 or 2 spots because they got a lot of fucking holes to fill. And moving from 1 to 3 or 2 to 3, when they got Will Levis and they got motherfucking Deshaun Watson, you know what I'm talking about? It's a possibility. It's much more likely than a team like
I'm still gonna keep my fingers crossed that the Giants draft Shador Sanders. That's all I'm gonna say. And speaking of Bijan, I'm gonna ask you a question. This is a question. This is all football talk, ladies and gentlemen. He's our football guy. All right. I'm gonna ask a very, very simple question. Do you believe, based on these numbers right here, right, that this year has now given the resurgence back to the running back? Has this year proved that how valuable the running back can be in the NFL?
Without a motherfucking doubt. And I'm happy you asked that question because all last offseason, we went into how the running back position was being devalued in the NFL, how they was playing everybody, not just Saquon Barkley, but Derrick Henry, Josh Jacobs, all these dudes that was up for big contracts and all their teams was playing with them. And they all switched teams and look at 1, 2, and 3. Who's at the top of that list? Derrick Henry, Saquon Barkley, Josh Jacobs. You know what I'm saying? and they're teams that got them. They all in the playoffs, and they all looking good in the playoffs. Because at the end of the day, in football, when it comes to this time of year, you gotta be able to run the ball and stop the run. It becomes very fucking basic when it comes to playoff time, and it's real cold outside. Can you run
Mhm.
the ball effectively, and can you stop the run? It goes for both. It goes both ways for both teams. All right. So it's not a surprise that these running backs, they got to good teams with good balance, a good balance attack where they wasn't the number one focus and the only thing that the defensive had to stay up at night for and game plan for. Now defense has got a game plan for an entire offense, and these running backs showed you that they are the engine to any good offense and any balanced offense. You know what I'm saying? Whole facts.
All right. I agree. I agree. I was gonna see if I could pull up. Let me see if I could just pull it up real quick because I do have it. Okay, yeah, I do have it. Let's see if we can pull it up real quick. I'm gonna show this thing again. Saquon with 2005, 1921 for Derrick Henry. Then it drops off about 500 yards with Bijan at 1400, Jonathan Taylor 1400, Gibbs 1400. I'm just gonna stop right there because this is the stat I do want to show, which is last year it was Christian McCaffrey with 1400. Then it was 1100 for Derrick Henry. Kyron Williams 1100, 1100 for James Cook. Swift with 1,000 yards. I'm just showing the drop off, the big difference in what the running backs have done last year compared to this year. So if you don't think the resurgence of the running back is back, it is back and is in full effect. And shout out to to the teams recognizing it and those running backs that put them back on the map. Henry, Josh Jacobs, Saquon, especially. Christian McCaffrey was injured this season. Unfortunately, we couldn't see what he would have did. But running
No,
backs put on the
no,
show this
no,
season.
no, 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 no. I want to highlight that because we could highlight that right now. Last year, Christian McCaffrey was healthy, right? He was the top rusher with 1,400 rushing yards. He had about probably 800 receiving yards, too. What did the San Francisco 49ers do this season without Christian McCaffrey? That's a
Mm,
big, that shows his importance. You know what I'm saying?
mhm,
Because with him, they was in the Super Bowl last year, if I'm not mistaken, right? Or they was like
yeah,
in the NFC Championship game. You know what I'm saying? They was
mhm.
right there. And now this year, without him, they don't even sniff the playoffs. They was like the
Nope,
third best team in their division. You know what I'm
nope.
saying?
Done,
Hey,
done.
hey, put some respect on them boys' names.
All right. We're gonna move on to the next thing. Well, let's touch this because you wanted to touch on this topic before we get into the playoffs. Tyreek Hill once out of Miami.
Hmm.
What's your thoughts on it? I don't necessarily have any thoughts. It's what it's going on. It what happens in this climate of the NFL, NBA. Everybody wants out of situations, blah blah blah. But I know you had some choice words for this, so I'm gonna let you go on your rant.
I will never be comfortable with bitch assness. I will never accept bitch assness. I will never want bitch assness to become a norm, such a norm that is just accepted and it's just like we don't talk about it enough. Nah, fuck that. I'm gonna call a motherfucker out when I see grown men act like bitches, whine like little bitches. You know what I'm saying? And it makes me sick to my motherfucking stomach. Because if y'all don't know what happened, I'm gonna paint the picture for you. You know what I'm saying? Because not everybody be on it like I'll be on it. It was right after the game when they just finished losing to the Jets. During the game, they had a chance to make in the playoffs, but once the Bengals, no, once the Broncos won their game, it didn't matter what Miami did or didn't do. They were eliminated from playoff contention. Once they realized they were eliminated from playoff contention, Tyreek Hill decided he wanted to not play for the team anymore during the game because they tried to sub him into the game, and he refused to go into the game. All right.
Mm,
He damn near did the same thing that AB did. He did the same thing that DeAndre Campbell did for the San Francisco 49ers by saying, I'm refusing to go back into the game right now. And then after the game, he made the situation even worse because he's the team captain and he's the leader and he's one of the highest paid players on the team. You know what I'm saying? If you go on to Miami, his stadium, his face is all over the stadium because he's the one you come to see. He's the one that you pay tickets to see. Excuse me. They asked him after the game, as a leader, about the direction of the team and what does he see going forward in the future of the team and what does he see going forward. They asked him about the future of the team because he's a captain. And Mans went on to go on a rant about his family and about doing what's best for his family and doing what's best for him. Mans went on to talk about this is the first time that he's never made the playoffs, and he's too much a competitor not to be in the playoffs. And as a matter of fact, I'm out of here. I'm out. It was nice being here, but I'm out. I don't want to be here no more. And walked out, like literally, like drop mics and walks off. First of all, brother, if y'all don't know that this man was winning championships with the Kansas City Chiefs and turned down continuing to play with Patrick Mahomes for a few $1,000,000. I mean, the Chiefs was offering a nigga like $66 million. Miami offered a nigga like 75, maybe, $72 million. And he chose to leave Pat Mahomes, who he was winning with playoff games, you know what I'm saying, winning with. He chose to leave that situation for more money. So he chose his family right there over the game because the bread won. If you take the bread, I'm not mad at you. Went to Miami, I'm not mad at you. But now when you lose in the motherfucking Miami, my nigga, don't bitch, my nigga, because you just got more bread in Miami. He just got a new 2-year extension in the beginning of this season, paying him like $55 million the next 2 years. He's guaranteed $27 million just for showing up this season. Just for showing up this season. He's one of the top 3 highest paid players at his position. So how you talking about it still about your family, bro, where your bag is already set? That's some real bitch shit.
Yeah, some people, I think some people was considered sore losers. He is reminding me a lot of AB with some tactics. And I think sometimes people think talent overrides everything. And as talented as he is, he should have never left KC. I don't know. He should have never left Kansas City, but okay, you left, went to Miami, and now you ready to go. My question is not that somebody wouldn't want to pick him up, but where could he possibly go that someone would want that type of attitude, for one, for two, gonna pay him, and for three, because since he wants to win so much, is gonna be a contender. That'll be interesting to see going forward. May the force be with you, sir. I don't got much more to say about you. So what I will do is we're gonna move on to the upcoming wildcard games.
Hold up. I want to talk about some more bitch ass shit. I'm mad that the Cowgirls ain't here, but I got some shit I want to get off my chest.
Okay.
Real quick.
Tell them why you mad, son.
Real quick. This weekend, week 18, a lot of teams, I'm going to talk about the most relevant or the situation, the most famous situation where you had players who were going to meet bonuses inside their contract to get paid extra money. Incentives. They were going to meet incentives.
I know what you're about to talk about. Go ahead.
They were paying for incentives. You understand what I'm saying to you? You got the guy Kyle Van Hoy from Baltimore. He got his sacks. He got money for each sack. You got Mike Evans, who the Tampa Bay Buccaneers were leading. The game was over. Okay, they was 30 seconds left in the game. They was up by 8. They had the ball back. They could have just took a knee, but Mike Evans needed 5 yards, so they ran a play and threw him a 5-yard out route, and he gained 9 yards, and the whole team celebrated that bitch. You hear me? Because the whole team knew we're gonna make sure our man get that extra bread. He got $3 million for those 5 yards. The Cowgirls. Rush, get the yayo, as our co-host would call him. He was due an incentive of $250,000. I think the number is. It may be 200,000. I don't know. Somewhere around there, $250,000, maybe less, a little bit less. If he played 55% of their snaps. Before this week, Before this week, he already played 53% of the snaps. And if he would have
Hmm.
started this week, he would have got the 55%, and they would have had to pay him an extra $250,000.
And they benched him.
That's what we're gonna say about that organization. You hear me? Classless, despicable, as some will say.
I can't argue with them. I got nothing to say on that. Before we actually make picks for the wild card weekend, I wanna ask my co-host, which team surprised you more? Because now that we are in the playoff time,
Okay.
let's start with the AFC. Who surprised you more this season, the Chargers or the Denver Broncos?
Broncos. The Denver Broncos. The Denver Broncos look so dysfunctional and so disorganized and such like the worst team in football and such like the laughing stock. Sean Payton looks so bad. You gotta remember that the Dolphins put up like 70 points on their defense last year, one game. Like
Hmm.
they look so far from a playoff competitive team, and all of a sudden, look where they at. The Chargers always had Herbert. They just had a coach that made stupid decisions. They just had a coach that did dumb shit and went for it on fourth down on his own 20-yard line and dumb shit like that. Like, you know what I'm saying? They had a coach who was trying to be Dan Campbell but wasn't ready to be Dan Campbell. Like, you know what I mean?
Hmm. Hmm.
But now that they got a right, sound-minded coach who came in and brought the culture, you can see them being a playoff. You know what I'm saying? You can see it
Okay.
happen. So Denver, definitely.
Denver easy. We both agree it's Denver with the a Harbaugh coming to coach. We knew they would be a better team. Um, I didn't believe they would be making the play. I didn't think either one of them be making the playoffs. But Denver is definitely a much bigger surprise than the Chargers. So let's do NFC real quick. Who's more surprising for you, Washington or the Vikings?
Washington.
Hands down, that was easy.
Washington. That's not even close. I could have predicted that Sam Darnold was going to do this, like not go this crazy, but going to do what Baker Mayfield did. Like you know what I'm saying. Like before the season started, I wanted Sam Darnold to win the starting QB job from McCarthy and not give it back to him. You understand? From JJ McCarthy, not give it back. I didn't want JJ McCarthy to get injured, but I wanted Sam Darnold to win the job and have a season like this and do exactly what he did because it's what Baker Mayfield did the year before. So it just makes it more interesting. I could have kind of like, you know what I'm saying? I wish for that to happen. But for Jaden Daniels to come in and be as poised as he is and be the truth as he is, the Washington Redskins led the league in touchdowns to win the game with under 30 seconds to go. They have like
Hmm.
4 games. They won 4 games this year in the last 30 seconds. And no team won more than two, I think. You understand what I'm saying to you? Like the fact that he's so clutch, like you don't want to give him the ball. Already, he's a rookie, and you don't want him having the ball with no time left. Like you treat him like a vet right now in the playoffs in his rookie season. You got to be up by more than a touchdown, and you don't want him to get the ball because if you're only up by 5 or 4 points or some shit like that, and it's like it don't matter how much time is left on the clock. When the Commanders get that ball back, and I put some respect on this fucking team, I'm gonna call them their right fucking name now. When the
Hmm.
Commanders get that ball back, you nervous because that young man is confident and cocky, and everybody on that team feel like they got a chance of winning. He's crazy. He's crazy. Like that young kid is it. He is something like there's quarterbacks who played this season. There's rookie quarterbacks. The rookie quarterbacks who played this season makes me wishful about what the Giants could do if we get something like one of these motherfuckers. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm telling you. The Phoenix, the Drake May, you know what I'm saying? Drake May,
What I
Michael
what I
Phoenix,
what I think about
Bo,
when I
Bo,
hear
Bo Nix, even Bo Nix. Look at Bo Nix. We just talking about Denver, but we didn't call his name. Look at Bo Nix. You know what I'm saying? And look at Jaden Daniels. What? Yeah.
so this is what I this the way I look at it. Maybe I'm just a pessimist. I look at it as maybe the Giants really missed out on a class of quarterbacks that they could have had. Um, or a quarterback, back when they even drafted Daniel Jones. But there's been quarterbacks that maybe we could have taken and we missed out on. It doesn't give me hope because what I do know about the NFL is that every year there's quarterbacks coming out, or every other year where there's a nice class of quarterbacks supposed to be coming out, and there's a lot of hit and misses. But when you just ran through all these names and most of them are rookies and they playing this well, we might have missed the class where it was going to be really good. That good class where the same one where Phillip Rivers, Eli, and Ben all came out the same. You know what I'm saying? Like the same. We might have missed that class. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, to that, I would say this: we tried. We tried to trade up to get Jaden Daniels and Drake May, but the Reds, the Commanders, and the Patriots, they wasn't having it, and you see why. Now that you see them play, you see why they was asking for too much, and they wasn't even serious when they asked for what they asked for. You know what I'm saying?
Because they
You
probably
see what?
wasn't budging, so it was like I could ask for whatever. I know they ain't giving it, so whatever. All right, so let's get to it.
Hey, and at the same time, the New York Giants. I don't know if you know, but we only the third team in NFL history to have a pair of rookie teammates that go for over 1,000 scrimmage yards. As far as Tracy and Neighbors, they both went over 1,000 scrimmage yards. Only
That
the third
that
time in
that,
NFL history.
ladies and gentlemen, is what you call finding a bright light in a very dark room. Just a glimmer of light in a very dark room. That's what my fellow Giant fan just did. I respect it because it is a feat.
Of course, you know I'm
It
gonna
is a
do it.
feat. It is a feat, especially since Tracy did not start the year as our number one court running back. I really liked what he's done this season through the injuries that were had and how he continued to show that he should be the running back for the
He is the
Giants.
running back of the future. That he is. We
Yeah,
we got one right there. We got a good running back right there, and we got a star receiver in Neighbors. So
I agree. I agree. So let's make the picks. Let's go here. So let's start. Saturday, 4:30. You got 1 o'clock CBS on Sunday, but it starts Saturday. Texans, if I'm correct, it's Texans and the Chargers. Who you got winning that game?
Chargers.
Chargers beating the Texans, who are definitely banged up. I agree with this pick, unless CJ Stroud got some magic in somewhere we don't know about, but don't look that good. Who you got? Baltimore versus the Steelers. And before you make your pick for that game, I want to point something out. So Russell Wilson has been playing really well this season, and Pittsburgh has been playing good as a team. They have now lost 4 in a row. Going into this last game of the season versus Baltimore, I thought Russell was going to beat them and go have at least a good little flow going into the wild card game. Didn't play that well. Um, but my question is, before you make your pick, is this with everything leading up to Lamar Jackson's MVP season, possible MVP season, right? You already made your pick in Josh Allen, but he's having a great season. Do you think these 4 losses by Pittsburgh, um, has any effect going into this wild card game? Do you think Russell Wilson's confidence possibly shaken or shot? Um, do you expect this to be a good game or a blowout?
I expect a great game because Russell Wilson is a vet. So no and no and no and no to is his confidence shaking a shot because he's on a 4-game losing streak. You gotta remember that the bigger picture, because Russell Wilson is like me. He's an optimistic. He believes in the Lord and everything. He's still in the playoffs. He still has a chance to win the Super Bowl. He still has a chance to have this wonderful season that he's had. Like he ain't have a season like this since Seattle, since the Legion of Doom was there, since Marshawn Lynch was with him. You know what I'm saying? So he's having the most fun that he's had in a long time. He's the leader of a locker room of a confident, gritty, hard-nosed football team that nobody
Mm-hmm.
wants any parts of. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And he has a chance. And as a veteran like him, who looked like he was washed and the whole world was done with him in Denver the last few years and this last year in Seattle, this is all he can ask for. You know what I'm saying? So
Mm-hmm.
Russell is going to be excited, and Russell is going to be ready to put up a good game. Like he's going to be able to. He's going out there to ball. I want to point something out inside the 4-game losing streak real quick because we talking about stats. We talking about the importance of people.
Mm-hmm.
George Pickens, his number one receiver, was out for 3 of those games. If I'm not
He was
mistaken,
out. He was out for 2 of them.
2 of them, right?
Mm-hmm.
He came back the last 2 games. First game wasn't really. Last week versus I think it was Cincinnati. I think they played Cincinnati. He had a horrible game. He had like 5 drops, literally wide open, boom, 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 like just had drops. Just had the dropsies. That's not going to happen again. He's too good of a player to have the dropsies again. Like, and he had him on short plays, big plays. Every time he dropped the ball, it was a big play. Russell Wilson was on point. Russ ain't playing bad. You know what I'm saying? He ain't have his guy, and then his guy's back, and his guy wasn't 100% the first game. And then when he was back with the hamstring the last game, he had a case of the dropsies.
All
Pickens,
right.
Pickens is you know what I'm saying? 2 games under his belt now, and he went to bed last game in front of everybody, in front of the world. I expect him to play better, and I expect Pittsburgh to play better. I still want Baltimore to win, but I don't.
So who you
I
picking?
expect this game. Baltimore,
You're picking Baltimore.
yeah.
I'm picking Pittsburgh. So I'm gonna say the 4-game. Remember, I had said this about Detroit in regards to them losing games prior to the playoffs, right? I was wrong about that, ladies and gentlemen. I thought Green Bay might beat them, and give them the loss that they needed, and blah blah blah. Anyway, I think Buffalo is the one that ended up giving them the loss. But moving forward, 4-game losing streak. I feel like with Mike Tomlin and them, they're gonna be really ready. I don't think Russ. I think the key to this is that Russell doesn't focus on his main receiver. I think quarterbacks are way better when the other team doesn't know who you're gonna go to. And if he uses all his other receivers and then use Pickens for big plays when needed, I think they have a huge chance of winning this game. Because I think Lamar does the exact same thing with his receivers. He goes to Andrews. He doesn't go to Flowers all the time. Sometimes it's Likely. Sometimes it's Bateman. He has, you know what I mean? He spreads the ball around. I think that's what Russ is going to have to do. Because Lamar is having such a great season, because we all want Lamar to succeed, and the only thing missing from this man's resume right now is a Super Bowl champion. I don't think anybody wants to pick against Lamar Jackson. I don't want to pick against Lamar Jackson. But there's something to Tomlin winning, Russell Wilson winning, and them overcoming what would be clearly the odds of them losing to Baltimore. So just because I want to see both of them succeed. Unfortunately, they're going to be playing each other. Somebody got to lose. I'm just going to pick the underdog in this game because I always go with the underdog. So I'm going with Russell Wilson and the Pittsburgh Steelers. All right, next game. Denver Broncos, Buffalo Bills. Who you got?
Buffalo.
Buffalo. That's a clean sweep. Green Bay, Philly.
I want to say Green Bay.
Hmm.
I'm gonna say Green Bay.
You heard it here first. Green Bay over Philly.
You know,
Um,
hmm?
I'm actually gonna go the same direction as you.
Jalen Hurts still is in concussion protocol.
Nope.
Jalen Hurts. So Jalen Hurts got injured week 16. He missed 17 and 18. Like,
Mm.
and he's been in concussion protocol for 16, 17 days now. You understand? He's been in concussion protocol for a minute, and he's still not practicing. The game is Saturday, right? The game is Saturday. Or is it Sunday?
Let's see. That game is Sunday.
Okay, Sunday. So, but even though Green Bay's dangerous because it's like they don't have their top receiver. Like them missing without Christian Watson. That Christian Watson injury was an injury for them. You know what I'm saying? But the one thing about them is, like you were saying, he throws it around. Love throws it around to so many different. He spreads the ball to so many different receivers, and he
Wicks,
got a tight end.
Dobbs. He got Jalen Reed. He got Reed. He got a couple of play.
He got Reed. He got Dobbs, and he got the Hicks kid, the Dix.
Yeah,
What's his name?
Wicks. Yeah, Wicks.
Wicks. Right.
Hmm.
Wicks. Right. Devontae Wicks or whatever. You know what I'm saying? You got Tucker Craft. You know what I mean? And they
Yep,
throw
he got.
screens to Josh Jacobs.
They're
You know
not
what I'm
gonna. He's not gonna miss a beat without Watson. Watson was a big key, but he's gonna hit the people he need to hit.
saying? Right. He spreads the ball around and you know what I'm saying? And Green Bay is just that. I just think they did just a more complete team. And I think even though both quarterbacks are dinged up, I think they have the healthier quarterback in Love. Love is,
Who's the backup for Philly? Who's the backup for Philly?
he was just playing too. My guy from the guy who was just in Pittsburgh. What's his name again? Damn. He was drafted by Pittsburgh. He was just playing in Pittsburgh. This is his first year not being in Pittsburgh. I forget his name right now.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
A young quarterback too, like 4 years.
Oh man, why I can't remember this dude's name? He was trash. I know you're
He
talking
was
about them.
he was alright, but Kenny Pickett.
Okay,
Kenny
yeah,
Pickett.
yeah,
Kenny
he's
Pickett.
trash. Trash.
Kenny Kenny Pickett.
Trash. But I think this is one of those games where it's gonna be Jordan Love versus the Philly defense, and whoever wins that matchup is gonna win the game.
No,
And
but for me, it's up front. It's the running backs. Who's gonna stop? Who's running back? Y'all guys gonna stop? Is Green Bay gonna stop Saquon, or is Philadelphia gonna stop Josh Jacobs?
nah,
And
I don't. I don't. That's your opinion. I don't agree. That's what it's gonna come down to. Because Saquon's gonna be Saquon because he's a dual threat running back. So I don't think you really contain Saquon. I think the issue is Brown, Devontae Smith, and if the quarterback can't get it to the other guys, obviously that just gives Jordan Love more time on that field. But Philly's defense has been playing really well in the past 4 to 5 weeks. They've been on a roll. So I think it's Jordan Love versus that defense. Because Jordan Love is a gunslinger. And if he throws for damn near 275, I got Jordan Love winning that game.
facts. I agree. I agree.
He'll have 3 TDs. You're not gonna know where it's coming,
I
what
agree. I
receiver
agree.
he's going to.
Right. The running backs are gonna kind of break even.
Yeah,
They're gonna. You know what I'm saying? They're
they're
gonna.
gonna mix it up. They're gonna mix it up well with the run and the
The
pass.
running
But
back, the
whoever
running
pass,
backs
yeah,
are
and even the success of Philly was relying on Jalen Hurts making the right throws because Saquon's been carrying the team. Let's be honest. But it's the key throws down the stretch which he needs to make, and if he don't make those throws, they lose a lot of games. So
and
if he
the
doesn't
runs
play,
and the runs.
and yeah, if he doesn't play, I don't know. I ain't got no confidence in no Pickens. So I think Green Bay versus that Philly D. Let's see what happens. No pause on Philly D, but uh Washington, Tampa Bay. Who you got in that game?
That's probably my favorite game. That's probably like gonna be my favorite. Like I'm gonna watch that game from first quarter because that's Baker versus that's the two most dangerous quarterbacks in the NFC. Like that's the two quarterbacks that none of these vets want to see. Like you know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
I'm mad
Hmm.
that they playing each other in the first round because I wanted them to play against other people so I could pick both of them. You know what I'm saying? But just because I'm a Giant and it is what it is, I got to go Tampa. Washington is still inside the NFC East, so fuck them niggas. At the end of the day, if
So
once it comes,
even though I don't know the matchup, so I don't know if who wins out of this matchup, who they would face next. I didn't look into that. I apologize, but
and
it
and you
to
know
me,
what too? one more thing. I'm sorry. One
Go
more
ahead.
reason why I picked Tampa. I picked Tampa a more solid reason rather than just being, you know what I'm saying? More solid reason is that they have the better running game. That rookie
Mm,
they got, Bucky Irvin, is the real deal truth. And then they got the good backup in Rashad White. And they really run the ball and they get that Bucky Irvin involved. Bucky Irvin is gonna have like 100. Washington can't stop the run. They never been a good run stopping team this year. And it's the playoffs. Like you gotta be able to stop the run. Like I was saying before, stop the run and run the ball.
okay. Well, I'm gonna pick Washington. I'm gonna just go with the black quarterback. That's as simple as me. Let's go with
Baker,
DC and the black quarterback.
Baker, Baker play like black. He like
I know.
Harden.
Listen. We know Baker got swag. I know that's your man's. I'm just going with the young. They calling him the young Jackson, the second coming. So I'm
I'm,
going with Jaden.
I'm
I'm
not
going
mad.
with Jaden Daniels. All right. Last but not least, who you got in this game? It's the Vikings versus the Rams. That's gonna be on a Monday night. Who do you got? Vikings, Rams.
I want Minnesota to win, but I think the Rams gonna win.
Mm,
But in my like, I want Minnesota to win though because they're like they're like the more dangerous team going forward. I would say, but they got a dangerous Rams team. Like you know what I'm saying? Like the Rams just beat Minnesota the other day, like week 14 or 13. Like in the Rams 5 game win streak that they had to end the season off, Minnesota was one of them picks. You know what I'm saying? And
mm-hmm,
Stafford threw for 4 touchdowns, 274, something like that. Kyron Williams had like 97 rushing yards. He caught a touch, like you know what I'm saying? Like it was one of them games. You know what I'm saying? But I want Minnesota to win because going forward they could do more damage. But the Rams is just so I picked Minnesota. I picked Minnesota because I got to pick somebody. You know what I'm saying? So that's
okay.
who I want.
I'm picking Minnesota too because I'm rooting for Sam Darnold. I'm rooting for nothing but success for Sam Darnold. So
And not only
Stafford,
for
you've been
Sam
there. You
Darnold
want a chip. I ain't got no hate towards you, but I want to see Sam Darnold succeed.
and Brian Flores. Everybody try to diss Brian Flores
Yes,
and act like the man
yes,
he was doing because he made
yes,
him. He fucked up in
yes,
Miami. It is what it is. I want that black man to get a second chance. You know what I'm saying?
yes,
The
yes,
further
yes,
he
and
goes, the more
yes,
the better.
yes,
So
yes, yes, and yes.
Minnesota.
Um, whew. All right. We're gonna end the show on that, right? I'm gonna leave it. We're gonna put a halt on anything else I wanted to cover. Um, and we'll get back to you guys later on with some more content, some more topics. I have plenty more, but this was contingent on having the entire crew. And I'm not in a situation where I could be on much longer. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna close out this show. This has been another episode of Straight from the Block, only on 92.6 WKBP, the spot radio for the people. Tune in, listen. I'm your host, Deplano, co-host. Holla at him on the way out.
Appreciate you for your time, Deplano. You already know, my guy. Much love. Happy New Year to everybody. Happy
Happy
New
New
Year.
Year. Happy New Year. And let's get ready for the playoffs. Playoff time.
Yes, yes. Best time of the fucking year. You got playoff. You got playoff football. You got basketball really ramping up right now. You know what I mean? Shit about to get
Sports
crazy.
is on and popping. So
Mm.
you will be getting more content. And until next time.